the reincarnation of Billy Mays here. I've grown my hair out a little bit in heaven, but I'm here to tell you about my new product, the toga. Now, easy way to set this up, right? Take her here, wrap her around your waist. You know, the toga was around during the time of Julius Caesar. You know, much like the play by William Shakespeare. Now, so you just take her around here. Wait, what? You don't know about William Shakespeare? Really? Let me show you something.
William Shakespeare was born on April 23rd, 1564, in central England, in the town of Stratford-upon-Avon. Shakespeare was one of 8 children that his parents, John Shakespeare and Mary Arden, birthed. William Shakespeare was the oldest child after the premature death of his 2 older siblings. His father, John Shakespeare, fulfilled many civic positions in Stratford throughout his life, which gave him an elevated status in the town. This status is believed to be what allowed William to attend grammar school. At the age of 18, Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway, who was 26 years old and pregnant. Shakespeare and Anne had 3 children together, Susanna and their twins Hamnet and Judith. However, Hamnet died when he was just 11 years old. The years following Shakespeare's marriage are largely a mystery, as it is not known when Shakespeare traveled to London. We do, however, know that his reputation was established in London by 1592, but little more is known, making these years known as the lost years. While in London, Shakespeare, along with other colleagues, founded the Lord Chamberlain's Men. While a part of the Lord Chamberlain's Men, Shakespeare wrote and performed in many plays inside the famous Globe Theatre. The Globe opened in 1599 and hosted some of Shakespeare's most well-known plays. The original Globe was burned down in 1613 after a fire erupted on the roof from a cannon shot during a performance of Shakespeare's Henry VIII. The play Julius Caesar was produced in 1599 and published in the First Folio of 1623. The play depicts Julius Caesar's near rise to power, his assassination, and the violence that follows. Shakespeare may have been prompted to produce the play by his own worries about the political situation in England. Queen Elizabeth had been ruling for 41 years and was very popular. She had also never named an heir to her throne, and many feared that a civil war would erupt after her death. The main characters of the play are Caesar, the up-and-coming king. While Caesar is the namesake of the play, he is not around for long, as he is assassinated fairly early on. Cassius is the main conspirator, who has an immense hatred of how Caesar has a demigod-like status with the citizens. Brutus is one of Caesar's best friends, who turns on Caesar after being persuaded by Cassius's forged letters, which depict Caesar as a tyrant. The play begins with Caesar returning home to a large parade. During the parade, a call from the crowd warns Caesar to beware the Ides of March. Caesar brushes the warnings off, but the call provides a great deal of foreshadowing for those watching the play. As Caesar gains more fame and power, Cassius begins to plot against Caesar, and he quickly brings more people to his side, manipulating them into believing Caesar is toxic to the Roman Empire. I will be acting out Act 2, Scene 4. This scene is directly before Caesar's death and shows the pandemonium that was happening before the assassination. The characters in this scene are Portia, who is Brutus's loyal wife. Troubled by how little Brutus confides at her, she becomes extremely worried about Brutus. She tells her servant, Lucius, to run to the capital, but gives him no further instruction, and the two talk in circles for a bit. Portia then begins to hear things while Lucius claims to hear nothing. A soothsayer then interrupts the two, telling Portia that Caesar is not yet at the capital, and that the soothsayer wants to befriend Caesar. Portia is worried about a plot against Caesar, and finds it unusual that Caesar would need more friends. The scene ends with Portia sending Lucius to find Brutus.
This character will be Portia, Brutus's loyal wife. So in this costume, I will be the soothsayer. Alright, so as this character, I am Lucius, the Brutus, and Portia's servant. I prithee, boy, run to the senate house. Stay not to answer me, but get thee gone. Why dost thou stay? To know my errand, madam. I would have had thee there, and here again. Here I cannot tell thou what shouldst do here. O Constancy, be strong by my side. Set a huge mountain between my heart and tongue. I have a man's mind, but a woman's might. How hard is it for women to keep counsel? Art thou here yet? Madam, what should I do? Run to the capital and do nothing else? And so return to you, and nothing else? Yes. Bring me word, boy, if thy lord look well, for he went sickly forth. And take good note what Caesar doth, what suitors press to him. Hark, boy. What noise is that? I hear none, madam. Prithee, listen well. I heard a bustling rumour, like a fray, and the wind brings it from the capital. Sooth, madam, I hear nothing. Come hither, fellow. Which way hast thou been? At mine own house, good lady. What is o'clock? About the 9th hour, lady. Is Caesar yet gone to the capital? Madam, not yet. I go to take my stand, to see him pass on to the capital. Thou hast some suit to Caesar, hast thou not? That I have, lady. If it will please Caesar to be so good to Caesar as to hear me, I shall beseech him to befriend himself. Why, know'st thou any harms intended towards him? None that I know will be, much that I fear may chance. Good morrow to you. Here, the street is narrow. The throng that follows Caesar at the heels of senators, of praetors, common suitors, will crowd a feeble man almost to death. I'll get to me a place more void, and there speak to great Caesar as he come along. I must go in. Ay me, how weak a thing the heart of a woman is. O Brutus, the heavens speed thee in thine enterprise. Sure thy boy heard me. Brutus hath a suit that Caesar will not grant. Oh, I grow faint. Run, Lucius, and commend me to my lord. Say I am merry, come to me again, and bring me word what he doth say to thee.
Following this scene, some of those loyal to Caesar attempt to warn him of his impending doom. One loyal follower, Artemidorus Canidos, attempted to warn Caesar with a letter detailing what the conspirators had planned for Caesar. As Caesar is walking to the capital for a meeting with his assassins, Artemidorus attempts to give Caesar the letter, but Caesar states he will read the letter at last, as the needs of Rome come before his personal matters. Shortly after, Caesar enters the capital, where he is stabbed by Cassius, Brutus, and the other conspirators. Caesar's last words are "Et tu, Brute," which translates to "You too, Brutus?" Following Caesar's assassination, Cassius and Brutus go outside the capital to talk to the townspeople. They quickly convince the townspeople that Caesar was a tyrant and that they did them a favor by killing him. However, Antony, who is a friend of Caesar, shows the crowd Caesar's body and brings the crowd onto his side. Alongside Antony is Octavius, who is Caesar's adopted son, and Lepidus. The crowd is now seeking revenge against the conspirators that killed Caesar, and they make a list of conspirators that they must kill. During the confusion of the crowd, Brutus and Cassius have fled the city to create an army to fight those loyal to Caesar. The night before the battle, Brutus and Cassius begin to argue about the terms on which they killed Caesar, but they eventually realize that they are on the same team and they must act together for the upcoming battle. Shortly after their argument, Brutus learns that his wife Portia has killed herself because of her growing grief. Not long after the news of Portia's death, Brutus and Cassius learn that Octavius and Antony's army is marching towards Philippi. While Octavius and Antony's army must travel a longer distance, Brutus and Cassius are worried that more people will join Octavius and Antony's army to avenge Caesar's death. As Brutus and Cassius bed down for the night, Caesar's ghost appears and tells Brutus, "Thy evil spirit, Brutus," and promises to meet Brutus at Philippi. The next day, the two armies meet at Philippi, and Brutus and Cassius agree to commit suicide if they are defeated. They reason that if they don't, they will be dragged through the streets of Rome. During the battle, Cassius is killed by the very sword that killed Caesar, thus avenging Caesar's death. Brutus kills himself by having one of his soldiers hold his sword and then running into the sword. The play showcases many themes throughout the storyline. One of the themes is the power of speech and manipulation. Cassius was able to turn Brutus, one of Caesar's best friends, against Caesar. Another example is when Antony shows the townspeople Caesar's body, and through reverse psychology turns the town against Brutus and Cassius, by convincing them that Caesar had the city's best interests in mind. One more theme is irony. Brutus is a noble and honest man, and he sought to keep Rome stable and free. However, he was tricked by Cassius into killing Caesar, which only brought the city into turmoil. Overall, Shakespeare's Julius Caesar is one of my favorite Shakespearean plays, as it shows the power of perception versus the power of facts.